Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to another episode of Talking Halos. I'm your host today, Jared Timms, and I am joined alongside my co-host, my partner in crime, Nate Green. Nate, how you doing?
Well, I thought it was going to be hopeful, but after last night or 2 nights ago, that was
boy. Oh boy!
I know we are excited to talk about that game. We were there, so that makes it a little bit more fun for us to be back together and to be there. So, but yes, let's move on to the rest of the show.
Absolutely. I mean, quick disclaimer here: if you are listening to this, it'll be interesting for you. I'm not going to lie, but if you can hop onto YouTube, we're pulling out the whiteboard now on Zoom. Great new feature that they brought in, and we're going to break down the play, both plays. I think there's a need to break down both plays. That entire inning. We're going to break down that entire inning. I'm going to be honest here with you. The ninth inning Monday. I don't know what to say. We'll talk about it here shortly. That might be what this entire podcast is about. If you haven't heard it already, enough from everybody. Shit show. Be the best. Like I have no other. No, it's that was the most Angels thing that could possibly happen. Like it was Javi Baez against the Pirates. It was. I don't know. I don't have an explanation. It was Angels.
Yeah, the worst part about this is the Angels took 2 or 3 from the Twins, which just made me the happiest person on earth, and I can't even get excited about it because of what happened on Monday. So it is disappointing, but I think we are going to educate some people and show some reasons why we were upset, and I'm sure everyone was upset, but I think everyone's upset, but really about one guy, and it's not one guy. So
no. Absolutely not. So before we get started here, just a disclaimer, you can, if you're on YouTube, you can tell it's not the normal background for me. I'm on vacation in a sense, podcasting for you guys and making the show on YouTube. Forgot the mic, unfortunately, so I apologize for the horrendous audio that you guys will probably get from me. I promise it'll get better, but just disclaimer there. If you want it to sound a little better, probably YouTube's place to go this week for podcasts. And again, just want to thank you all for listening to this podcast here at Talking Halos, again, making the best Angels podcast out there. I truly do believe it. If you could subscribe wherever you are listening or following, go ahead and pound the subscribe button. If you are on YouTube, I really do appreciate it. We just hit 300 on our way to 400, on our way to 500. Just been fantastic there. Appreciate all the support there as well. And I know we had a couple listeners ask a couple questions actually or watchers ask a couple questions on YouTube. We'll get to those. We will. We're going to break a bunch of stuff down this week, and it'll be a lot of fun, to be honest. So again, appreciate all y'all for listening. If you could give us 1 second to pay the bills if you're listening to us on podcast, if not on YouTube, let's go ahead and get this rolling here. And Nate, I don't even know where to start. So
I got this. Actually.
We go to the night.
Where to start is we had a great week. I mean, Jared came home. We got to go to a minor league game. We got to hang out on Sunday. We got to meet some really, really cool people. I don't know if Jared wants to tell that story, but
we won't tell that story yet.
I mean, this had been a great week to start with. We get to go to the game on Monday. The Angels are playing, decently well. Ohtani threw the ball good enough. The Angels had some good ABs against Castillo. There was some hope of, hey, if we win this game, maybe we can start knocking the Mariners out of the playoffs, and who knows, other things could happen. But I mean, I think that was the biggest thing about this is like get the Mariners out of the playoffs, and we can worry about the other 8 teams we have to jump later. But and then the 9th inning happened. Actually, the 8th inning happened. Where
I'm not upset about the 8th inning.
No, but
I think that it was played correctly. We made the joke. We made the joke of anybody but Aaron Loup in the 8th, like saying, but like. I think they played that right. I think Aaron Loup coming in the 8th made a lot of sense to me. When you go back and look at the splits and reverse splits that happened, and even bringing him back out in the 9th, I'm not upset about.
Because wasn't upset about either of those. I was just referring to the fact that in the 8th inning, I'm sitting next to you going, there's 0 chance Jake Lamb hits in the 9th, right? Absolutely 0 chance he hits in the 9th. So we make sure that there's a righty available for whoever's pinch hitting for him. And the other thing in the 8th inning was Shohei Ohtani was on first base. They swung at the first pitch. I believe Rengifo popped up. Yeah, Rengifo popped up. Taylor Ward's up, and they still don't steal second with 2 outs.
It was still with 1 out.
One out, yes, that's right, because Taylor Ward Taylor Ward got out and Walsh hit the flare down the line, which could have ended up scoring a run and giving the Angels a lead going into the ninth, because I was very adamant about, fine, Rengifo, leave the hole open at first, whatever. I still would have stole. But with one out in the eighth inning, you haven't really generated a lot of offense. You've got like 6 hits on the night, which is, I guess good for this offense. And you got the part of the lineup that really needs to hit, because after 5, it's like, I hope they make contact. It's Jared Walsh, it's, Sierra, it's Duggar, whoever it was, Stassi at that point. And it was like, okay,
probably see Adele at some point if you had a couple runners on there, I'd assume.
Yeah. So you're like, you got to get into scoring position. Munoz is not quick to the plate. He's a 1-6, and he throws the ball hard. He's not an easy guy to square up. He's not a guy that you're hoping to string 2 or 3 hits together against. You're hoping for, that one hit. And again, you're more likely to get the little bloop single like Walsh did than you are to get something hard hit off of him. He has been very good this year. And so I know that was something that I was upset about. And then to see nobody warming up in the 8th inning, knowing that Lamb was not going to hit against Loop in the 9th, was very frustrating.
Knowing that if anything happens, you get the top of the order. You get lefty.
It was switch left technically, but there was absolutely no chance that Lamb was going to hit against the lefty. So you knew it was probably going to be switch right, and then Rodriguez was going to be the 4th hitter of the inning, and France was the 5th, and you did not want Aaron Loup facing Rodriguez or France.
And it takes a step back to the Shohei Ohtani thing. 100%, you need to be stealing there. You need to get the opportunity to get a guy in scoring position with Jared Walsh up, who seems to be pretty clutch in some situations. I know he's had a down year, but he's come up with a lot of big hits. So you need to try to find a way to get him in scoring position. You get the flare hit down the line. I don't think Ohtani got the best of reads on that ball.
2 outs. He didn't run
hard.
There were
2 outs. No,
he 2 outs.
It was not. So I was trying to give him the benefit of the doubt there for not running hard. No, but you are right. There were 2 outs. Ohtani isn't really running hard to get to 2nd or 3rd. And not only that, the ball comes in and he goes full Taylor Ward and tries to catch the ball with the catcher standing right behind him.
That was good.
Now, if he gets thrown out there, I probably lose it. Luckily, he doesn't get thrown out.
Everyone probably loses it.
Oh yeah. I mean, again, you have to find a way to get in scoring position there. That wasn't the thing that lost the game for the Angels.
No, absolutely not. I just think that it would have been something I would have done personally.
Yeah.
Would have made sure that Ohtani was in motion. I mean, he does have some wheels, and
Speaking of would have done here, sidebar. You see the video of the guy who's yelling at Tony La Russa?
Yes.
To get Angel, I don't know who's running on help Pagan, or I don't know who was actually, they called him in to run, but
was it Angle?
I don't know. Oh yeah, it was Adam Engel, and the fans were yelling at Tony La Russa to get Adam Engel in.
And the funniest thing, the same thing happened again last night.
And they were yelling at him?
No. La Russa, Eloy Jimenez walked to lead off the bottom of the 8th, and Adam Engel sprinted out of the dugout. Like before Eloy even got to first, it was like, just go run for him now. And it was like Tony had learned his lesson.
Yes, I'd love to sit behind the dugout and be like, yo, Phil, go warm somebody up, because that's what I would have been doing. Like, why are you not warming anybody up in the 9th? And speaking of that, let's go ahead and talk about the 9th inning. One of the worst innings I've seen in a while.
The worst inning I have ever seen.
Yeah.
From a Major League Baseball team.
I do agree. I don't think it was all on one person. Like, I know everybody's pointing fingers at Stassi, and it has to do with everybody, because first off,
you need to
have somebody warming up, correct? You got to have Tepera. You need to have somebody warming up. I didn't hear post game, so I don't know. Maybe Tepera wasn't ready to go.
Herget was probably available. Jaime was probably, like they had guys. That
you have to have a righty warming up, or at the very least, Jose Quijada.
Jesse Chavez was available, and I'm literally the biggest anti Jesse Chavez guy, but at least he's right-handed.
Absolutely. So let's go ahead and, in a sense, we'll try to break this down as best as we can. Loop actually does a pretty good job. I think he gets the first guy out, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes,
he gets one out.
He got right. Cal Rayleigh out, and then he's facing Sam Haggerty. Sam Haggerty goes base hit to left,
Sir.
and then the next The next AB was crazy. I mean, you get the pinch hitter in Carlos Santana.
And then this is the thing again. I mean, jumping into this a little bit, diving into this more. Laz Diaz absolutely screwed up. It was in this at bat too, if I'm not
mistaken. Yes, it was. It was the 2-2 pitch, 3-2 pitch, whatever you want to call it. Part of that I'm going to blame on Phil Nevin. I am.
100%. You have to know, like, you have to argue. You need to go out there and argue it. Like, you can't.
He has replay. Like, he has replay. He has 3 other umpires that he could say, hey, Laz, why don't you ask everyone else? Because we had 2-2. You're saying 3-1. We had 2-2. Can you ask? And if all the umpires say, you know what, we had 3-1 as well, then it's like, hey, go put on the headsets and let's go find out what you said, because you called first pitch strike and you called the third pitch a strike. So you had 2 strikes. What's going on here? So I am going to put some more blame on Phil Nevin. That's 2 things. That's 2 strikes against him so far. And we have just got started.
Yes, absolutely. You get that 2-2, 3-1 count, whatever it's supposed to be. It needs to be argued. You need to go out there. Something needs to happen. Whether Laz is adamant about it or not, you need to know what's going on there. You know, if the scoreboard has something, you have something, and you're getting a phone call from the replay, the guy's doing the replay, and then for the Angels saying, you know, hey, we need to go check this. We need to go out and argue. Like, regardless, it needs to be reviewed. It has to be reviewable. You need to go to.
It was reviewable.
100%. Yeah, and it's been. We've actually seen this happen before.
Yes, I've seen it be reviewed, so it's not like something that's never happened before.
So
also in this at bat is the ball in the dirt.
Yes. So you do get the Carlos Santana walk, but you do get the ball in the dirt, which the last time I've seen something like this happen was, it wasn't Jeff Mathis, was it? I'm trying to think of who did. Somebody did this before as well, where they threw down to first base. Oh,
probably Napoli.
No, somebody threw to first base a couple years ago, and the guy was stealing.
Oh yes, I do remember that. Was that Iannetta?
It might have been Chris Iannetta throws to first base when the guy's stealing. Last time I've seen something like this happen, lack of communication.
Lack of communication. 100%. Exactly. I mean,
he's going hard after the ball, thinking he's going. He gets away, and
he has no idea what the guy's doing.
He absolutely no idea. And he's mid throw, trying to pull back. You can tell he's trying to let up a little bit. Granted, probably shouldn't be throwing it, but again, it probably makes it pretty dang close. So he drops the elbow, it sails. You blame Stassi on that 100%.
Yes, 100%. It is. That's on Stassi. I will. Yes, there's one for Stassi. Still film 2, Stassi 1.
Yeah. Moving on a little bit more. Carlos Santana walks on a 3-2-3-1 count, whatever you want to call it. Dylan Moore comes in and pinch runs. By the way, we were at the game. Still nobody warming up, by the way.
Still nobody.
So you have runners on first and second, nobody warming up.
First and third. Haggerty stole third on Correct. The 2-1.
I was wondering how he
1-1 pitch. The 1-1 pitch, the pitch that was called a strike that Laz thought was a ball, Haggerty steals third on.
Yes. Yep.
So now we're first and third. Dylan Moore is on first. Sam Haggerty is on third. And we still have Aaron Loop in the game. Aaron Loop has thrown way more pitches than he should be throwing. And still nobody is moving around in the pen.
So this is where the fun stuff's going to come in. And I apologize. We do apologize if this doesn't work out. Hopefully you on YouTube can see this. If you're not on YouTube and you're listening, jump onto YouTube. You can see our display here. Fantastic looking drawing. Thanks to us here. You see red is the Angels. We have a little bit of blue here going for the Mariners. This is where things get very, very, very interesting. In fact, I think we need to, so corner or middle infield was in more too. So I apologize here on this one. However, this is the play. This is the setup here. You have infield in. We got a line drive, ground ball.
Line drive offering Gifo's glove.
So we have line drive offering Gifo's glove. We're working on it. You go. You.
Okay. I'll keep talking. You kind of draw this as we go along. So Rengifo looks up, panics, and would he have had the guy at second? Yes. Would he have had the guy at first? No. J-Rod's a plus runner, not a guy you want to try and turn 2 on. I understand going to the plate there. Yep. So he goes to the plate. Rengifo doesn't follow his throw. which is
Hold tight here. We need to get a different color out here for where the Angels are moving. By the way, when this happens, you have Aaron Loop, who comes back here and also pulls an audible going this way as the ball's going. So, and then trips here. He trips. By the way, we have the ball here at home plate. So this is where things do get interesting here.
Walsh has to stay put at first base as well before we continue with this, just in case Rengifo does try and turn two. Because if Rengifo flips it to second and Walsh starts breaking to home, then we are in a bad situation where it's an automatic run and nobody's at first base. And who knows, maybe we throw the ball and it ends up in the dugout and Rodriguez is on second base. So Walsh does his job almost correctly.
Yes, almost. And he's not making it home. Let's just slide by that. He's not making it home. No. Aaron Loop
doesn't do his job.
Tough read for Aaron Loop. Let's be honest, tough read for Aaron Loop, though, because he's kind of in a no man's land. I know his pitchers, like you and I, are smart enough to be like, so I get what he's doing here by going this way.
But he was going to third first, which is 100% a no-no. You're taught you're always taught to fill in. As a pitcher, you're taught to fill in home when there's a rundown between third and home. You're taught to fill in third when there's a rundown between second and third, because there's always going to be multiple guys in the middle to take over for that position. There's only one guy behind home plate, so that's why the pitcher's supposed to get there. Yes. Like we said, Rengifo's probably supposed to follow his throw as well. He's not going to get there either. So Rengifo and Walsh aren't going to get there. No. Walsh did make his way towards home. Rengifo and Velasquez kind of went towards third late, which, again, not good. Loop is late to home, and Stassi has the ball.
So Stassi has the ball here, correct? This is where things really get messed up in our opinion here. This is not Max Stassi's fault by any. I give him 5% of the blame. Correct. Because 100%.
So when in a rundown, the first thing that you are supposed to do is you are supposed to run the guy back hard. You want the shoulders to turn. Haggerty's shoulders did not turn. His shoulders were square. And that is a big no-no, because it is a lot easier for him to go home. His change of direction is a lot faster than having to turn his entire body. So that is where the Max Stassi fault is.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then you get Stassi jogging back here, jogging him back, pump fake, which is fine. But I do agree with you. I do think he needs to give a hard push back. I do, however, think in the back of his head, though, he looks around and sees that, oh, hey, nobody is coming down here yet. So you almost need to protect that. I don't know if that's actually what happened, but I do think that, that happened in the back of his head where he was like, okay, I actually kind of need to jog him back a little bit because no one's here to back me up.
Yes. So
I do think that.
He jogs him back, which is, rule number one. You got to run hard on him. Yeah. Jose Rojas is supposed to come in. They teach the guy at third here to creep in a little bit so it's an easy catch and tag. You do not want to be held on third base. If you are stuck to third base, you are never, ever going to get the guy out. No. You've always got to creep with him and try and catch and tag. So Jose is probably a step behind where he should be. He also calls for the ball, which Stassi gives the ball up like he's supposed to, right when Jose calls for the ball. Jose.
I need to get my black. Okay. So we got this. Jose calls for ball, which I don't agree with that. I think that they should be running if Stassi is hopping back in a sense and kind of taking his time, which I'm also okay with, but I do agree that he needs to sprint back hard. I do think that Rojas needs to stay put at third base because Rojas is coming in hard and Stassi's jogging.
Couple quick steps for Rojas. It wasn't like he was super hard, but it was a couple of quick steps. But I think honestly, if Stassi runs it back hard and Rojas is doing what he's doing, and it's a catch tag right away, it's an out. He can look around and possibly look for the next play. I think it doesn't turn into the old school Sandlot pickle thing with Stassi running him back slowly and Rojas probably a step behind where he should be. So Rojas calls for the ball. He gets the ball. Nobody's at home.
Nope. Stassi's in no man's land, which is fine. I get it.
Loop is Stassi peels off like he's supposed to,
Correct.
and probably passed the runner's lane, which is a no again, but it's okay.
Loop is in no man's land because
Loop-
Loop is actually up here and then works his way down once
Yeah.
he sees that he's
Yeah.
messed up.
It looks
Walsh
a lot
is-
closer than he actually was.
Yes. Walsh is
Close,
not
but
getting
not
there.
there. No,
100%. And
probably about
you
30 feet
have-
away.
Yeah, and you have nobody here at home plate making it look really, really bad.
And also, Velasquez and Rengifo, neither of them are near third base on this.
They're both in this area. They're like talking. They're honestly
Yeah.
like right next to each other. Which
Yes.
again, Renifo needs to work his way straight down here. 100%.
Again, a
And-
no.
Yes, and also, by the way, we drew outfielders because they stayed put. They stayed there. They stayed there. And they stayed there. These guys need to be coming in.
Yep.
Coming
so
in,
the
coming
right
in.
fielder is supposed to work his way in towards first base just in case of a back pick situation. The center fielder is going to work his way into second base again, so that that base is occupied because all the infielders are supposed to be between third and home. The left fielder again is going to work his way towards third base and be there just in case somebody is late.
Yep.
So yes, Velasquez was not there. He is supposed to be there. That was a very, very obvious move. But also the left fielder, which I believe was Duggar at the time, he's supposed to be there just in case he's like that third guy, just in case he's going to be involved in this rundown if it, keeps going where there's 5, 6, 7, 8 throws. So everyone was wrong on this play.
Except for Max Stassi, who's getting all the blame.
Again, I would say I'm giving him some of the blame because he didn't run hard at the guy. But yes, everyone messed up on this play. I would say Jared Walsh wasn't quite where he was supposed to be. Even though we say he probably wouldn't have got there in time, it wasn't 100% like, oh no, I got to get to home plate. It was kind of like, oh, I've got to work my way in. Rengifo doesn't go the right way. He goes to third. He's supposed to come towards home. Rojas is probably a step behind where he's supposed to be. Also calls for the ball probably a little bit too early. The outfielders are staying still. Velasquez and Rengifo are in no man's land. And as we have talked about, Aaron Loup is somewhere between the pitcher's mound and home plate, which
on the ground
should never, ever be a spectator. That is the first thing you are taught as a pitcher in PFPs. You are never, ever a spectator. You're always somewhere. Always got to be somewhere, whether that's backing up a base or taking over somebody's spot. So
absolutely.
A lot of things going on in that play. The reason we wanted to do that, one, we wanted to make sure that this isn't 100% Max Stassi's fault. Max Stassi created the inning. Yes, he threw the ball into center field. Yes, but the rundown, not Max Stassi's fault.
No.
The next play that I don't even think we need to draw up because it was just that easy of a play. First and third again, J-Rod's on first, green runner, but you have Ty France in the plate, and he's a red runner. Red runner, like slow guy, you should be able to turn to if it's hit hard at you. This is one where, as a coach, you're telling your guys, if you have to come into the ball, you're throwing the ball to the plate. If it's hit hard at you, we are turning to. It's 100%. There's one out. Let's get off the field. And I sent that to Jared last night, very upset. So balls hit hard at Andrew Velasquez. Velasquez kind of turns like he's set up to throw the ball home, and he throws the ball home, and Dylan Moore knocks the ball out, and the circus starts going, and it starts going for a long time. The circus music was going for about 15 minutes last night. Again, Velasquez didn't do that correctly either. That's one where you just turn it. Rengifo's probably got to be saying something like 2-2-2. Stassi actually did, again, he did his job correctly. The one thing that he didn't do 100% right there is he's got to protect the ball a little bit better when he's going to tag, but not really his fault. I think Velasquez needs to turn two there, and we're out of the inning. It's only a 1-run game. You're going into the 9th inning. Yes, it's 7, 8, 9, but it's a 1-run game instead of a 4-run game. So very, very bad inning. And then after the first debacle, after the first one that we just drew out for you guys, that's when Jesse Chavez starts to get going.
Yeah.
That's when he starts to get going.
I was actually going to bring that up, and I was looking at it, I was like, when did Jesse Chavez start? It was probably about the Ty France at bat is when they started going. Because we looked down there in the bullpen and we're like, well, still nobody going. And then it was like, oh, fine. Like now somebody's up.
Like,
So,
I think Ty France was like stepping into the plate, and it was like, oh, hey, Jesse, you're in. And he starts throwing, and it's like, he's not even close to being hot. Use a mound visit. That was something that I was also upset about. They had plenty of mound visits. We did not use many mound visits last night, if at all, maybe one. So they had plenty of mound visits. You didn't take your free mound visit when they pinch hit for Carlos Santana. You also didn't take a mound visit when the circus came to town for the first one that we just drew out. That's an easy time for Phil Nevin to walk out there and say, like, hey, Aaron, we know what just happened. Infield, we know what just happened. We're going to take a step back. We're going to figure this thing out. Okay, on this play, we're going to turn 2 if it's hit hard at us. If it's not hit hard, we've got to go to the plate. Okay. And that was a very, very easy time to go settle everyone down and make sure everyone's on the same page. Instead, nobody slows the game down. And that's what happens to bad teams. They speed the game up on themselves. And there's no real captain of the infield. I know David Fletcher's off the field at this time, and he's probably the guy who would be the one to say, hey, let's take a timeout. Let's talk about this real quick and let's chill out. So a lot of mismanagement in this inning. And it's not just leaving Aaron Loup out there. It's not taking a mound visit. It's not communicating good enough. It's not really preparing these guys good enough. So yes, Stassi made one mistake. I think everyone else made just as many mistakes as he did. And Max is going to wear the blame because that's what he's supposed to do. He's the catcher. He's supposed to be one of the captains of this team. So he's not going to go out here and point fingers. He's going to say, hey, you know what? It's my fault. I'm supposed to make sure that everyone is in the right position. So it is on me. But Phil Nevin gets a lot of blame here. No one's talking about that. Aaron Loup gets a lot of blame here. Nobody's talking about that. Rojas gets some of the blame. Velasquez gets some of the blame. I mean, everyone is going to get some of the blame on this inning. And I don't think a lot of people are talking about that. All I heard last night, all I saw on Twitter, all I heard after the game when we were listening to the radio was Max Stassi this, Max Stassi that, Max Stassi this. And then it starts to go into, oh, Max Stassi's hitting 206 on the year. It's like, well, Jared and I have been talking about Max Stassi hitting 206 all year. We've been telling you guys that he's an 80 game player. He's not a 162 game guy. He's not even a 100 game guy. He's a platoon backup guy. And so for people to start attacking him for having a rough year, it's like, first of all, Jared Walsh is having just as rough of a year, and nobody's attacking him the same way that they were attacking Max Stassi last night. So I think that there were a lot of mistakes made, but I don't think that we need to give Max Stassi the full blame here. And again, I still don't know why Aaron Loup is facing Julio Rodriguez. He's the best player on that team.
Why nobody is warming up for the top of the order.
Yes, that should have been the thing. It's like, okay, top, and it's right, left. Like you really think you're going to get Aaron Loup all the way to Jesse Winker without giving up a run? Like, and that's what you want? It's like you're going to have 3 guys, 2 outs. You're going to bases load, 2 outs, and they're not going to score a run. So yes, it was a very bad outing. And again, people, the best part last night was hearing people say, oh, Aaron Loup had bad defense behind him. It's really hard to play defense when you don't throw strikes. Aaron Loup walked 2 guys. You cannot be walking 2 guys. I know one of them wasn't really a walk because Carlos Santana was, the 3-1 pitch or whatever. But still, you've got to be able to throw strikes. You are getting paid $8.5 million. That is my favorite thing to talk about, how much money Aaron Loup is getting paid to be very bad at the baseball. So he needs to be a lot better. He needs to throw a lot more strikes, and he needs to put them in a position to make some plays. I mean, bad defense. J-Rod hit that ball 110 miles an hour. Like that's not a play that's supposed to be made. Yeah, Rengifo gets glove on it, which is great. And then, nobody knows where to go, but the ball was scorched. That ball was hit hard. That was not he hit it, 82 miles an hour off the bat, slow ground ball, whatever. That was a well hit baseball. So we were very frustrated. So we wanted to get some of that off of our chest tonight. And I think we wanted to also just talk about like what we have taught as coaches and what we've learned as players where guys need to be, what their assignment is, and how it's supposed to look. So I think that was fun using the whiteboard. Good call, Jared.
Yeah, fantastic. Really did enjoy using it. 108 off the bat by Julio, by the way. So not an easy play by any means. Luis Manierfeld hasn't been the best defender. Luis Manierfeld has been fantastic offensively, which is great to see. Kind of the guy that we thought he might be, probably maybe a little bit more power than we thought he might have, but probably here for a different day. We really just wanted to break down that entire inning in a sense, what we saw, because in all honesty, we had the best view of the entire thing.
We did.
We really did.
The only other view that you could have said was better would have been Phil Nevin or Max Stassi. Like, those are the only two.
Nevin might not even had a better view than that. But yeah, tough game. We wanted to break it down for you. We wanted to give our opinion on it. We wanted to, let you know that we're here, we're watching, we're with you guys on this. And it's tough. It really is. But yeah, we want to see the Angels win at some point. So, Nate, you got any final thoughts before we let
I was just going to say that was a lot of fun to break that thing down. If there's, other plays that people want broken down, things like that. I mean,
let us know.
We love doing that. That was actually a lot of fun, getting the whiteboard out and kind of moving guys around and showing everyone where they're supposed to be. I know hopefully there isn't any plays like that again, but there probably will be something similar where we feel the Angels didn't handle a situation well. Or, I mean, we watch baseball. It doesn't even have to be an Angel game, because, I mean, we know everyone's watching a lot of other games, a lot more postseason, a lot more playoff contention baseball than watching Angel games right now, because it's been rough the last month and a half. So,
like Rocket City Trash Panda. So, thank you all for listening to this podcast here at Talking Halos. Again, I want to thank you all so much for all the support you've given us here. If you could subscribe wherever you are listening, let us know whether you like us, whether we can get better for you. Go ahead and comment on YouTube what you thought about it. Let us know. So you can follow myself on Twitter at Jared_Tims. You can follow Nate on Twitter at NateGreen34. Go ahead and follow us on all of our social medias, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Just look us up, Talking Halos. Guys, as always, thank you so much for listening, and have a great rest of your day.